Developing financial acumen. Without discussing the significance of money management, no discussion of financial success would be complete. We will explore the fundamentals of prudent saving, investing, and budgeting in this chapter, setting the foundation for long-term financial security and stability. The ability to successfully manage our money allows us to make the most of our resources and confidently and firmly reach our financial objectives. However, being an expert money manager is not always simple. It calls for commitment, discipline, and the ability to make difficult decisions. So how can we become experts at managing our finances? How can we set up a budget, save for the future, and make prudent investments to meet our financial objectives and accumulate wealth over time? Making a budget is the first step in managing our money and reaching our financial objectives. We may make a budget that helps us live within our means and confidently and firmly reach our financial objectives by keeping track of our income and spending and finding areas where we can make savings and cuts. But maintaining a budget involves more than simply keeping track of our spending. It also entails prioritizing and making difficult decisions. To reach our financial objectives and have fulfilling lives, it is crucial that we determine what matters most to us and use our resources appropriately. Famous author and speaker Dave Ramsey once said, "A budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went." Put differently, a budget serves as a guide for reaching our financial objectives and leading a life that suits us, not merely a means of monitoring our spending. The second stage is to start saving for the future. We do this by allocating a certain percentage of our monthly income to finance an emergency fund and long-term objectives like financial independence and retirement. Prominent investor Warren Buffett once said, "Spend what is left after saving, not what is left after saving." Stated differently, saving needs to be a top priority rather than an afterthought. We may confidently and firmly prepare for the future and accumulate an emergency fund by prioritizing saving and allocating a percentage of our monthly income. However, saving involves more than just setting money away. It also involves making smart investments that help us reach our financial objectives and accumulate wealth over time. This chapter will cover a variety of investing techniques, including stock market, real estate, and everything in between. We will also go over how to make an investment strategy that fits our objectives and risk tolerance. Let's keep in mind that good money management is more important for financial success than merely generating money as we set out to become experts in this area. We may reach our financial objectives and accumulate money over time by making prudent investments, setting up a budget, and saving for the future. By doing these things, we can secure a bright and successful future for our loved ones and ourselves. Getting past mental blocks. Even with the greatest of intentions, we frequently discover that mental obstacles and limiting ideas are holding us back. This chapter will help us unlock our full potential and reach our financial objectives by identifying typical mentality traps and exploring techniques for overcoming them. The unseen roadblocks that prevent us from reaching our objectives and realizing our full potential are known as mindset obstacles. Thought blockages, however, are not insurmountable. Rather, they present chances for development and self-discovery, allowing us to face our anxieties and concerns and come out stronger and more resilient than before. Mentality barriers in the banking industry can take many different shapes. Numerous mental traps may sabotage our intentions and hinder our development, ranging from self-doubt and fear of failure to limiting views about money and achievement. But getting beyond mental obstacles is not always simple. It calls for bravery, reflection, and a readiness to question strongly held ideas and opinions. It calls on us to rethink our ideas of who we are and the world around us, as well as to face the anxieties and insecurities that keep us back. So how do we get beyond mental obstacles? How can we, with confidence and conviction, release our full potential and overcome the unseen obstacles that lie in our way of achieving our objectives? The first stage is to recognize our mental blockages, or the self-imposed constraints and restricting ideas that prevent us from reaching our objectives. We may start to confront and take action to overcome our mental blockages by exposing them and making them visible. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Noted psychologist Carl Jung once said. Put another way, our mental barriers function below the surface of our awareness and will prevent us from reaching our full potential until we address them head-on and bring them into the open. The second stage is to reframe our mental blockages, which is to confront the self-imposed constraints and limiting beliefs that prevent us from reaching our objectives and swap them out with powerful attitudes and beliefs that align with our success vision. Renowned author and speaker Tony Robbins once said, "Our beliefs about the meaning of the events in our lives shape us, not the events themselves." Put differently, our perspective impacts our reality by determining whether we view challenges as chances for personal development or as insurmountable impediments. Reframing our mental blockages, however, requires more than simply optimistic thinking. It also calls for imaginative action. It's about taking confident, conviction-driven, intentional moves toward our objectives and ensuring that our words, deeds, and thoughts are all in line with our vision of success. Famous writer and orator Napoleon Hill famously said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Put another way, our ideas have the ability to influence our reality. They may either help us live the lives we've always wanted, or they can feed our self-doubt and fearful tendencies. Recall that we are the designers of our own fate as we begin out on this path to overcome mental obstacles. We may realize our full potential and confidently reach our financial objectives by recognizing our mental blockages, confronting our limiting beliefs, and changing the way we see the world and ourselves. Fostering adaptability. Resilience is our most valuable quality when faced with hardship. This chapter will look at the characteristics of resilient people and how we may develop resilience in our own lives to make sure we can withstand any challenges we face on the journey to becoming financially successful. The capacity to overcome obstacles, adjust to change, and flourish in the face of difficulty is known as resilience. Resilience, however, is a talent that can be learned and developed via effort and practice rather than an intrinsic quality. Resilience holds particular significance in the banking sector. Numerous obstacles can impede our development and disrupt our ambitions, ranging from market downturns and economic crises to unforeseen costs and financial failures. But in the end, our destiny is determined by how we handle these difficulties. So how do we develop resilience? How can we strengthen our will to withstand any adversity and come out stronger and more resilient than before? Adopting a growth mindset, which views obstacles as chances for learning and personal development and has faith in our capacity to go over any roadblocks, is the first step. Reputable psychologist Carol Dweck once said, "The view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life." Put another way, our perspective affects whether we view challenges as insurmountable roadblocks or as chances for personal development. In other words, our mentality defines our reality. The next stage is to work on developing self-awareness, which is the ability to recognize our feelings, ideas, and responses to hardship, and to create plans for dealing with them in positive and healthy ways. Owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing we'll ever do, says well-known author and speaker Brené Brown. Put another way, being resilient involves recognizing our difficulties and addressing them head-on with bravery and compassion, rather than suppressing our feelings or acting as though nothing is wrong. However, developing resilience requires more than just mentality. It also requires action. It's about developing routines and healthy habits that promote our mental, emotional, and physical health and help us flourish in the face of hardship.